All right, Nicholas Rushworth joins me now in the studio for a flick through the international newspapers this Monday. Hi there, Nick. What have you got for us today?
Hi to you, Catherine, and hi to everybody. Of course, Egypt is what is dominating the international press. And rather than diving straight away into analysis piece, I thought I'd start out with a couple of cartoons.
There's been a lot of those around reflecting the situation.
Well, this is one that's in the Bangkok Post, and it shows the two sides at loggerheads stood on a cliff. There you can see characters in Egyptian dress there falling off both sides of the cliff, aren't they? And the banners there are saying democracy. Of course, that reflecting the very bleak state of affairs that we're seeing in Egypt, which is, what's the word? Intractable, I suppose. Another cartoon, the International Herald Tribune, is showing here US President Barack Obama sort of going knee-deep in the Nile, giving his bag of aid, more than $1 billion, to the mouth of the crocodile. And that crocodile is no less than General Sisi. But what do we see in that mouth of the crocodile but the cradle, a baby in swaddling clothes, and on that cradle we've got democracy. So very bleak indeed.
Yeah, the nascent democracy of Egypt there at risk, I guess, is the message coming across in that picture loud and clear. What about some analysis now? Because it's been going on for several days now, so I'm sure a lot of the papers have been getting really into some of that.
Well, I was struck by the International Herald Tribune, New York Times piece over the weekend. There, Let Our Client Go. It's a comment piece. It says leverage can be lost through inaction. And the quote at the end of that piece is, the US at this point cannot cut the Egyptian military off amid the bloodbath. That just simply means for the comment writer that we are never, ever going to do so. Other comment I saw in The Independent in the UK, it's got this piece which again reflects a general feeling. What can be done? What can you do, Catherine, about this situation? It's so incredible. And we might as well just pray. The quote that stood out for me there was, no matter wise policies that come from diplomats, whatever they drum up, we are really in a phase now of just simply needing luck. The turn of events to go in a much more positive direction now that embitterment is embedded in Egypt. That piece argues, perhaps almost forlornly at the end, we must have constructive engagement, whatever that means. Basically, no one knows what is going to be happening in Egypt, just as we don't know what's going to be happening in Syria or Iraq or Libya. Get used to it.
Yeah, very, very volatile situation, clearly. I want to stay with some of the British press now, because you've got a piece that you've picked up from the UK paper, The Guardian. They're leading with this story, which affects one of their journalists, or the partner of one of their journalists, who was detained at Heathrow Airport on Sunday.
Well, this is the front page of The Guardian, and also they've got inside coverage as well. But the front page shows this photo of, on the one side, David Miranda, who is the partner of the journalist Glenn Greenwald. Now, Greenwald has been the connection between Edward Snowden and the NSA surveillance scandal.
So he's really been working on this intelligence story,
he's been in direct contact with Edward Snowden, has written numerous articles about that, and that's how it was released to the world. So Greenwald himself is a hot potato. His partner, his boyfriend, went over to Berlin for a holiday. He came back to Heathrow Airport, was detained for 9 hours under the UK Terrorism Act. Greenwald says this is a message of intimidation to me, and I've taken that message, and I'm going to say to you quite the contrary. This detention will only embolden me to report more aggressively. Okay. So this has backfired, I think. Yeah,
well, The Guardian going big on this story. They're clearly pushing that message as well. Very quickly, sticking with a story related to Edward Snowden, a piece in the South China Morning Post very quickly.
Well, to have a funnier side of the Snowden scandal, here you can see the South China Morning Post leading, a Beijing firm has registered the name Snowden as a trademark. Why, Catherine? Simply because the company, electric car technology company, says we have secret breakthroughs in the car technology. So that's Snowden's story.
That's one way of getting some free advertising.
So
I guess,
a slightly funnier take on the Snowden
definitely
story.
A lighter story there. Thanks very much indeed, Nicholas Rushworth there with the International Press Review here on France 24. Stay tuned to Live from Paris. We're going to have all the latest news, including the latest there from South Africa, where Oscar Pistorius has now arrived in court. Those are live scenes there from the courtroom in Pretoria. Now, he is facing a hearing today where he'll be indicted on the charge of premeditated murder. And that charge, if eventually he is found guilty at trial, he would face a minimum sentence of 25 years. All right, stay tuned here on Live from Paris. Latest news coming up very soon.
Liberia, 15 years of civil war, 250,000 dead, 1 million displaced. The capital, Monrovia, is overpopulated, its infrastructure grossly inadequate. Despite rampant poverty, shortages of water and electricity, people still believe in the future. With the election of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first female president, investors have begun to return, the capital slowly coming back to life. Monrovia Revisited, an exclusive report only on France 24.